go through the analysis, right? Statistical analysis and other analysis. We have seen all those things, and then we have seen the basic statistics exploration also. Okay, like mean, mode, median, and standard deviation and other things. Okay, and we have seen the query function with the Netflix data and query function to query. Okay, this is used to query something you want to query from your data set. Okay, you can use the query function. Okay, so today what we'll do is we'll look at the handling, missing data handling. Okay, now in EDA, okay, in exploratory data analysis, we have some steps. Okay, so first is ingesting data, second is transforming data. Okay, looking at what columns you need. Okay, so for example, in a data set, okay, for example, in a data set, I have 30 columns, okay, 30 or 40 columns. So it's a huge, right? 40 columns is very huge, okay. And sometimes what happens is, for example, let's see if I have sample data. Okay, I have just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so here I have 5 columns, but in real time, okay, when you work on vast data, you'll have multiple columns. Okay, in some cases you'll have 150 columns also. Okay, and 150 is not a joke. Okay, so you have to decide which column. Say for example, you are working on your boss is expecting some analytics out of your data. Okay, now you have to choose which are the columns that I need. Okay, and if you're not sure, okay, if you're not sure which column to pick up, or if there is a stakeholder who has shared that data with you, okay, you can ask them to uh, give the data dictionary, okay, to understand. Now this is channel. Okay, what is this channel? Okay, this is some customer cases data. Okay, channel means which channel did he reach out? Okay, phone or email? Okay, something like that. So I have a standard here. Okay, and reason, what was the reason? Sign up. Okay, sign up of something. Okay, and this is the date and time stamp. Okay, and this is the IDs of customer who has logged in at particular time, and these are the case IDs. Okay, so this is something like a customer data. But in real time, when you have 15, 30, 100 or 150, 200, right, sometimes you have to take uh, a judgment on which columns you have to select for your analysis. Okay, it all depends on what column, and then you can get going. Okay, so like that, after that step in EDA, the next step is understanding and handling the missing data. Okay, so what I have done is, instead of creating a PPT, I've just created in Jupyter Notebook, and I've put all these things. Okay, still if you guys need in PPT, let me know. I will add it there, so it's not a problem. Okay, so let's understand what is a missing data. Okay, so in simple term, missing data means values in a data set are not available or recorded. Okay, now for example, this data is there. Okay, so for example, this will be left and this is left. Okay, so for this cust ID 164, so some data is missing. Okay, like this, you have couple of rows where the data are missing. Okay, so what does that mean? So some data are missing. Okay, it could be intentional, or it could be or it's not available, or when you're copying from some other location, there there might be a tendency where the data is not captured properly. Okay, it happens. Okay, sometimes when you export import files from your tools, okay, ticketing tool or other tools, okay, sometimes there might be some technical glitch, okay, using which what happens, the data cannot be copied, or it's left uh, empty, uh, intentionally or unintentionally. Okay, so and you can see at the second statement says missing data can occur due to human error. Yes, when data entry, you are adding some data entry, right? There is a tendency where a human make mistake, right? So instead of 0, he can type O, letter O, okay, and instead of letter O, he can type 0. Instead of 1, he can type L, okay, because in the paper, however, the data is written or forms, right? Physical forms, right? So he will enter accordingly. Okay, so he cannot take any judgment there. Okay, so once you get the data, your job is to handle this missing data. Okay, and next one is system or sensor failure. Yeah, this happens whenever you are exporting some data from your uh, system or whatever. Okay, server, sometimes could be a sensor issue where it will not export all the data. Say for example, you have 10,000 rows. Out of 10,000, some 5,000 rows are missing. Okay, uh, sorry, 10 billion rows, you have some 5,000 or 500 rows are missing. It happens. That is because of system or sensor failure. Okay, respondent skipping question in surveys. Okay, sometimes when I send you a survey, right, there is a tendency you will not uh, attempt all those questions. You might skip. Okay, this is not for me, I don't understand, then you'll go next and then you will somehow submit. Okay, so this is what it means. You need to understand all these things. Okay, why there is a missing data and data loss during transmission extraction. This is what I was saying, when you export or something. It happened with me also. Okay, with Excel, when I was exporting some files, actually in rows I have 15,000 rows, but when I downloaded, I have some 12,000 change. Okay, rest I don't know where it went. So we have raised a ticket with the vendor and all. He said some internal some issue. They said that we will send a fix for it in the upcoming cycle. That's what they told me. Okay, it happens. Okay, and why missing data matters. Okay, if it is not handled properly, missing data can bias your analysis. Okay, like in previous example I said 15,000 out of 5,000 rows are missing. Okay, on the basis of 10,000 rows, if you take some judgment, right, it might go on the bias. Okay, so you are not giving a perfect judgment based on your data. So bias your analysis. Example, if only high income people responded in a survey, the average will be misleading. See, this is one good example, right? And government is applying some schemes. Okay, if the high income people responded and lower and lig medium income group, okay, didn't responded to those surveys, what happens, what based on this you will take a judgment which will not apply, which will apply to everyone, but these guys will be not a happy customers. Okay, for the government. So these are some of the examples. Reduce accuracy of model and prediction. When you are doing accuracy and model prediction and all that, right? So this is very important. Okay, and cause errors in calculation or visualization. Okay, yeah, this is true. When you have an empty thing, right, you will get some calculation error, and if you're doing a mean mode, median, statistical imputation, you will definitely see some calculation error and visualization. Okay, and also it will lead to wrong business decisions. Okay, because you base insights on incomplete information. Okay, so I have some okay, before we go to the data set, is it clear whatever I have explained? What is missing data, why it is important, these two? Okay, it applies everywhere, guys. Okay, it applies everywhere. Clear of the fox. Okay, clear? Yes, no?
Yes, Anand.
Okay. Now we will uh, take a sample data. Okay, this is sample data I've created. Okay, so even before also we have created the student database or something, right? So similarly, same thing. Okay, so here if you see the data set, I have marked as something called np.nan. Okay, not a number. Okay, okay. So when you see any missing data in Python, right, when you compute or when you create a data frame, you will see something called np.nan. Okay, that is what I have mentioned here. I'll explain this also in the upcoming this thing session. Okay, so I have how many? 3, 6, 7, 8. 8 records I have. Okay, so I have male, female. I have these columns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have added in a data dictionary. This is a type of what data? What type of data is this? Data dictionary. Okay, and I'm storing in data, and I'm using a pd dot. What is pd? Pandas. Pandas dot data frame function to convert this data in a row and column. Okay, and then I'm printing. Okay, so this is my data set, and you can see all data is there, and you can see the missing values there, not a number. Okay, not a number. Okay, not a number. Okay, so these are the missing value. Okay, why I took a small data set is, okay, if you work on this data set small, you'll get an idea. Okay, else uh, it will take some time to understand. Okay, with a actual data. Okay, we can take actual data like Netflix or any customer ticket data and all, and then we will take out some of the data there. Okay, explicitly we'll delete that, and then we will start working on it. Hello, can you hear me, guys? Oh, sorry. Okay, I just heard something called muted. You are muted, so I don't. Okay. Okay, detecting missing data. So we have already learned these basics. Okay, now what is the first thing that we'll do is check for null values. Null is missing value. Okay, check for, okay, check for null values. How do you do? What is the data frame here? df. So we'll say df dot is null. Okay, and it's a function, so I will use two columns and then I'll run it. Okay, now you see it gives how many rows we have? 7. Okay, so 7 we can see. Okay, wherever you see true. Okay, first row no, here we see null. Okay, third here, 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 here. Okay, so there are some null values are there. Okay, like here, here, then we have sixth row, nine, and seventh row. Okay, so you can see it will depict here. Okay, in this column. So what it is doing is it is returns a data frame of true false, indicating whether the data is missing. Okay, if it is true, that means data is missing. Okay, now we'll count missing values. How many are there in a row? Okay, count count missing values. Okay, so same command we'll use df dot is null dot sum. Okay, so df, you have to just add sum. You will see how many are missing value. Okay, now you see it will show column wise. Under name, nil. Okay, nothing is missing. Under name, you see here false, 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 false. Okay, age, two values are missing. If you see here, one, two. Same thing under sex, gender, none. Marks, there is one missing. This one. Okay, steady R, this one, this one. Okay, so these are the, uh, we are getting all these details here. Okay, next one. So what does it show is, what does it show is, it shows, it shows the number of sum values of rows where we have a missing value. That is what the simple. Of missing values. Okay, percentage of missing values. How do you gonna do is df dot is null. Okay, what is the percentage in simple terms? Average. What is average in statistics? Mean. Okay, mean. Okay, and whatever the value you get, you have to count with 100. Okay, let's run this and see. Okay, so simple, you got the. Okay, what if you don't give 100? What happens? Okay, you get 250. Okay, which is not correct. Okay, you need to divide, multiply by 100 to get the correct values. Okay, 25, 12, 25, and all that. Clear, guys? Okay,
Yes, Vinay.
next, yeah, next one we'll see visualizing. Okay, visualizing this missing data. Okay, see, whatever the sheets that I'm sharing you with you, right, you just keep a track of all these things. Okay, this will help you whenever you're gonna write the same command there as well. Okay, so I am using cborn as SNS. We have learned all these things in visualization, and I'll also add mat.lib, mat.lib, lib.pyplot. Okay, as plt. Okay, so I'll use SNS dot, there is a function, 1 minute, why it is not coming, dot, oh, 1 minute, I'll just run this. I'll just run this SNS dot. This is what I was looking for, the drop down list. Okay, so what is this? This is a suggestion window where it will suggest which command you want to use. I want to use heat map. So I'll pick up the heat map function. It's a function. The function always will have close. Okay, inside I'll write df dot is null, comma, and then I will use char, no, c bar. 1 minute, is it c bar or what? Comma, c bar, yeah, c bar. Okay, I'll tell you what is this c bar. Okay, when we get into this, c bar equals false CMap equals, you have to type the y or rd. Okay, and then we have title sns dot title. Just type title, not sns, plt, this one, plt dot title. Okay, you have to pick the title, and here in title you have to give a meaningful name. Okay, so I'll write missing data heat map, plt dot show. Okay, I'll just run this and let's see. So it says CS false. Okay, F, I think it is capital. Yeah, it will turn into green, guys, like this. Okay, we got must pass 2D input shape. Okay, here also I'm missing a. See, wherever the error is right, it will show you something like this. This is 0, I guess. See, this is one way. Okay, heat map. This is called the heat map, where you can see which are the columns the data are missing. Okay, so name, like we saw before. Say, if you want to visualize the missing data, this is one way. Here, you're not seeing any missing value. Here, you two values. Okay, second row, one, and sixth row. Okay, here this is third row, fourth row, and seven. Okay, so this is called heat map. Okay, heat map also you can do. See, if it is this is small data, guys. When you have a large data sets, that is where you will think about it. Okay, clear? Okay. Okay, now we have seen how to identify missing data. Okay, so is null function, you can do a sum, you can do the percentage. Okay, you can get all those details. Now what we are focusing is, now if you see our topic today, why missing data. Okay, and how to handle those missing data. Okay, I'll write down here. Handling missing data. Okay, till now we have seen how to identify missing data, but now we have to find out the, after missing data is found, what is next. Okay, how do you handle it? Okay, one option is you can drop missing values. What do you mean by drop? You can drop all those missing values, rows. Okay, so how do we gonna do that? So you can say, you can take a new variable called df underscore drop. Okay, some name you can take, then you can say df dot drop na. Okay, na is drop na. Okay, okay, now it is done. Okay, now if you want to see what it does is it will remove all rows with any missing value. Now if I type df underscore drop, and if I want to view the data, so you will see earlier it was how many? 7. Now you see only 3. So this is one function that you can use, drop in a. Okay. Earlier if you see here, how many rows we have? 0 to 7, 8 rows. Okay. After dropping all those rows, we are left with 3. This is one. That is the reason why I am storing it in a different variable, not in this variable. I can update the existing data, which is df. I don't want to do that. Okay, this is just for analysis. Drop in it, and see, we have other option called fill the missing values with some imputation. Okay, that also you can do. Okay, fill the missing values with some imputation. Okay, now how do I do that? I'll say df underscore fill. Okay, I'll take a variable where I'll say df dot fill. So there is a function called fill, fill, yeah, fill na. Okay, you can use this, and it will take a parameter here. Now here you have to pass what you want to fill, all those missing values. I'll say 0. Okay, I'll run this. Okay, and I want to see the results. df underscore fill. Okay, okay. Now you see. So here age is there, and you see here 0, 0.0, 0, 0.0, wherever you see 0, 0.0, you will see all these are filled with some values. Okay, even if you value, because if this is a study or this is a numeric, and when you perform some machine learning, okay, it has to be numeric. If it is a categorical or some junk value like np.nan or nan, okay, it will throw an error. You have to treat your data first before you pass it on for machine learning. Okay, so this is very important. Okay. So another way is fill with, there is one more, uh, yeah, fill with, you can use statistical imputation, mean, mode, median. Okay, you can do this also. Fill with mean, mode, median. These are very uh, classic examples. Okay, you can use the mean, whatever the average. Say for example, this is missing. Okay, so I'll take the average of all this thing by 8. Whatever the number comes, I'll fill this marks. Okay, we'll do that one by one to understand. So first thing, I'll use df. Which column I want to use? Here I have age 1, 2 is missing. Okay, so I'll use the age column. Okay, dot, I'll use fill na. Okay, uh, what I want to use is df. Okay, df, there is square bracket, age dot mean. Okay, average. Okay, and I'll say in place is equal to true. Okay, what it does is, for this data, whatever the actual data is there initially that we ran, it will update the df with all this imputation. Okay, that is what it means, in place. actually in place equal to 2. Okay, so I'll run this. Okay, so we ran this and we can just type a df. Okay, now we'll come to age. Now you see 20. Okay, 20. See earlier, which third row, Rohan 0. Now what is the 21, and which one is missing? Vikram. You see it has imputed. Okay, this is one way, but still we have for other columns. Okay, so we are just treating this fill with mean, mode, median for only one column. Okay, so we'll do it for marks. How many are missing? One. Okay, we'll do for marks. I'll do one thing, I'll just copy this. Okay, I'll just change the label here. df marks, fill in a df marks. Again I'll type marks. Okay, this time I'll use median. Okay, what is median? Mid value. So how do you get a mid value? You add all these things by 2. Whatever the value is that, you will add it here. Mid value. Mean, mode is repeated value. Okay, we'll try mode for study hours. Okay, this is how you're gonna learn. Okay, you will get an idea. Median in place is equal to uh, in place is equal to 2. Okay, I'll run this. I'll just type df. Now we'll see the difference. This is for which column? Marks. Okay. Now you see marks. Earlier, what was the missing value here? Sneha, third one. Now you see it has imputed 80. Okay, so it all depends, guys. You are as a data scientist or data analyst or data steward. Okay, you have to take a call. How do you want to do? If it is handful of missing values, if it is more, there are different models are there. Okay, this is for simple one. Now this is for medium. Okay, next one we'll do it for study hours. I'll just copy this here. And, oh, what is that? Study hours, and this one also I'll use study hour, and this time I will use something called mode. Mode. Okay, so let me try this. Okay, I'll just type df. Okay, now you see earlier which column was missing? This 4 and 7. Nan. Okay, fourth column, if you see Arjun, it has imputed with 16 value here. Repeated value. Okay, which one is the repeated value here? 16. Okay, and the last one is Puja. Why Puja it has not done? Puja it has not done. Okay, now it has imputed. Okay, so we have to start from 0. That is where I was missing. Okay, so this is slightly tricky here. You have to add a 0 parameter here. Pass on along with mode. Okay, so you have to consider 0 also, or else it will consider only this, and it was left intentionally as nan. So that, which is not a good sign. Okay, or you can use average also. Okay, it's up to you. Okay, you can use the mean, average for everything, and you can do that. Okay, If you want to do multiple columns, how will you do? Okay, you will write df inside study hours, comma df age, comma df study hours. Okay, all together one line, and you will say median or mean, and then input is equal to true, and you can do the imputation. Okay. Now, if you want to see the df dot is null dot sum. Okay, now you see all zeros. That means we don't have any missing value. You have to calculate at the end and do the closing that your data doesn't have any missing values. Okay, and you can also do conditional filling also. Okay, so there are different ways that you can opt out. Clear, guys? You can stop the record side. Okay, and let me share this. Okay, this is very important.